everybody. Long time no see. I have a live today, and we are going to just talk a lot about explant stuff like we normally do. But today we're going to focus more on fertility issues, and excuse my nose. I have a stuffy nose. This has just been, quite the holiday season. Hi everybody. Hi everybody. Who had a good holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I hope it was wonderful. It has been totally wild over here. I have a bit of a cold and a flu, and my house is a mess and upside down. Who else's house is a total disaster? Am I the only one? You might see toys or little people, handprints as we chat. So if you got to see any of my previous messages or any of my previous lives, I am pregnant with my second baby after my explant, which was February 2016 or 2017. So I'm almost at 3 years, and I tried really for about 2.5 years really hard. We tried everything you could imagine to get pregnant with our second baby, and as soon as I removed my implants, I was pregnant in about 3.5 weeks. It was pretty intense, and anybody who wasn't sure that, the implants were doing it, including myself, that was definitely a testament. So we're going to give a couple minutes here because I know I had a lot of ladies on my group say that they wanted to join. So we're going to give a minute to kind of amp up, but I want to hear about your holiday. So hi. So tell me how you're doing over there, and thanks for watching. Hi everybody. Thanks for jumping on. Happy holidays. Anyway, excuse my nose. I have a cold, but this is one of my favorite topics, so we're going to chat today about it. Tell me how your holiday's doing. I know so many of my friends got sick over the holiday season, which was just such a bummer. Anyway, so I see we have a bunch of people jumping on, so I'll just get to it. So we're talking about fertility today, and as I started, this is my second baby after removing my implants, and at first, including myself, I was a critic. Is this even going to really do anything? And I fell pregnant 3.5 weeks after my first explant. This is our second baby in 3 years after explant, and I really had to do work. We're talking everything you can imagine, temperature taking and charting and this and that and all that fun stuff, and acupuncture and all that. So this time was a total fun surprise, and I had just gotten done with a really long detox. So, I was talking to a lady the other day, and she had removed her implants a couple months back, and she was still feeling kind of terrible, and they're trying for another baby. And we were chatting, and I had researched so much personally. Now, I always tell everybody, I ain't your doctor, y'all. Make sure you do your own research, but I'm going to share my personal experience, and you can compare it to yours and kind of see, what fits for you and what makes sense for you. So, one of the number one things, and you'll hear me talk about it a lot, is heavy metals. And that's something that I found, even women without implants, I have a kitty cat over here, sorry about that. Women without implants that are having fertility issues find that they have severely high heavy metals. And one of the big things that you can tell is if you're having migraine issues. That's something that kind of is... will let you know if you're having heavy metal issues. For instance, my friends and I played with mercury when we were in, 10 years old. We used to break the thermometers and play with it, and I had terrible migraines starting from that age. And then I did a serious heavy metal test when I got in my mid-teens. I know, it's crazy, but it made a huge difference, and my migraines went away. But that was the mercury was directly linked to the heavy metals in my migraines. And heavy metals too, and there's a way to tell with your periods too if you're dealing with heavy metals, but it all kind of goes in one. Hi everybody, thank you all for jumping on and saying hi to me today. Thank you. So heavy metals, if you're having fertility issues, and you're a skeptic about it, you can get your metals tested. But if you are trying to get pregnant, hi everybody, hi. If you're trying to get pregnant and you're having issues, taking the heavy metal into consideration is important. Why? Not only for fertility issues, but for your baby. They are finding that the placenta can filter through and also absorb some of the heavy metals, including platinum, okay? And that can pass on to the baby. Am I trying to scare you? No. This is just information and things that I have found in research personally that is something, that you should check into, because, heavy metals are something that they're finding are affecting those kids that are becoming autistic, or, that they're finding for focus issues. They're finding heavy metals for Alzheimer's and memory issues. So it's important to keep as many heavy metals down as possible. Also, copper. A lot of women who are dealing with postpartum depression or terrible postpartum anxiety or just anxiety find that they have high coppers. These are all metals. What is one of the easiest ways to detox copper? Vitamin C. High doses of really good food-grade vitamin C. So that's something to consider. Also, you can use your zeolites. There's a couple different ways. The zeolites are really popular right now. There's a couple companies that use them. They're all pretty much the same thing. And I have one that I love personally that I even give to my children because it's super gentle. And because I had implants with my daughter and she had a lot of sensitivities. And then my son, I got pregnant right away, so I didn't have a long time to detox. So I do that now. And I notice a huge difference for everything for him. So that's just something to keep in mind. Also, keep in mind for vaccinations. I'm not trying to get into, a pro or con deal here, but they do have metals linked in vaccinations. You can find them in the little inserts. So if you think that you already have heavy metals, that's something to consider until you've detoxed your child. If that's something that you really want to get behind, do your research on that as well. Now, kidneys are actually the master fertility organ. I didn't know that. But I learned that when I was trying to detox, and I was doing a lot of Chinese medicine because it was, really helpful. My acupuncture lady gave me a kidney chi vitamin, which is how I got pregnant with my daughter. I started taking that. I did 3 acupuncture treatments, and in 2 months I took the kidney chi, and I felt amazing, and I think it was like $11. But kidney chi is linked directly with your fertility issues, or good fertility. So, and that has to do with liver and kidney. So if you're having liver issues, like most of the people in the entire world, detoxing your liver prior to getting pregnant, all of this stuff you want to do prior to getting pregnant. You don't want to detox anything while you're pregnant. And the same thing with the kidneys, lots of ginger. There's some really great Ayurvedic medicine that helps with the chi, the kidney chi also. So, whatever your favorite modality is, just do your research for kidney strengthening and detoxing, and that's important. And of course, you can do cranberry juice and all that fun stuff too. For me, something that made a huge difference, and especially because a lot of women that are dealing with breast implant illness have estrogen dominance. Not everybody, but a lot of them deal with it. And there's a lot of ways to tell if you're dealing with estrogen dominance. You can go to lemonadegroup.org and you can do the survey on there too. And it's anecdotal, of course, but it can give you kind of an outline in what to look for and what to research yourself. I started cycling organic progesterone. It was over the counter because the prescription stuff was way, way, way too strong for me. But you don't want any estrogen in it. But what happens is the body, estrogen makes everything grow. And if you don't have progesterone, the way the cycle goes, basically, in the beginning of your cycle, you have a lot of estrogen. If you don't get pregnant, the progesterone comes and helps remove the estrogen, and then you start all over again. So it gets rid of the lining in the uterus, and that's what starts all over again. When the lining gets thick, it helps keep the baby in there. So if you're not having a regular period, or, your periods are very, very heavy, and you're having, progesterone issues, it's going to be harder to get pregnant. So I started cycling progesterone cream, which helps really keep that going. And there's a lot of reasons that progesterone isn't made in the body and it's blocked and all that stuff, but estrogen dominance is a big issue with BII women, especially from, all the women that I've spoken to in the group. It's amazing to see that. Hi, everybody. We have a bunch of new people jumping on. Hi, everybody. Another thing that was huge was meditation. I know that might be like, what? Some of you. I know I'm always talking about meditation, but it's really amazing. We have a tendency to get stuck on things, especially if you're a fixer like me, and you kind of get stuck and you're like, I'm just going to dig my heels in. I had a chat with a lady the other day, and she was telling me how her and her husband had been together for 20 years. I think it was 15 at the time, and they were trying to get pregnant. They hadn't gotten pregnant, and so they adopted a baby. It was just, by the time they got the baby, they found that they were pregnant. So within, I think it was 7 months of each other. So they had twins. So they have 3 about 5-year-olds at home all at once. But the point is that as soon as they were relaxed and they had their baby, and I'm sure you've heard that story so many times, but I was having dinner with them and it was pretty amazing that, those kind of things happen. And meditation kind of helps fast forward all of that, finds a way to just like calm the mind and relax you. So no matter what it is that you're trying to do and you're trying to focus on, just finding a way to zen yourself out is really nice. My favorite is free on YouTube. It's called Yoga Nidra, Nidra, and you can find any of the ones you want. There's some that are short for 10 minutes if you don't have a whole hour to listen. But Liam Gillum has a really great one. I think he's at Soul Springs Institute. You can just put his name, Liam Gillum, in. And his first one explains why the thousands and thousands of years of the Yoga Nidra actually change the mind and how it changes and rewires the brain. It's pretty amazing, and it's free. Another thing, so let's say you've already done your heavy metal detoxes, and so that you are going to create a beautiful placenta that's not full of heavy metals, including platinum. And by the way, the platinum they're finding in the implants are actually linked to neurological issues, which is why a lot of the women with breast implant illness are dealing with things like their fingers going numb or rheumatoid arthritis, their toes going numb, they're losing circulation, neurological issues. Some women are losing their hearing. Some of them are having ringing in their ears. These things are, these are serious things. When your body is overtaxed, keep that in mind. If your body is having a hard time getting pregnant, and this was hard to hear for me, but it means that your body's balance isn't there, and it can't be healthy enough for a baby. So doing these detoxes is super important, and it doesn't have to take years. It doesn't have to take a long time. But having a nice, clean foundation to grow a baby in is a beautiful thing. So if you've done your heavy metal detoxes, and you started to support your kidneys, you're drinking lots and lots of water, and you're taking your minerals to help. Actually, the minerals are just as important as removing the metals. So, there's a lot of information, and you do your research on it, but basically your body will get confused by the metals and think they're minerals, and they'll actually leach them into the bones. So it takes a while to detox them. So putting enough minerals in the body helps your bones release the metals and brings in the new minerals. Hi everybody. So you've done your metal detox, you're supporting your kidneys, and you're doing your progesterone, and now so this one I'm sure you've heard me talk about a million times. It's called Biomedic, and it removes the glyphosate, which is Roundup, and they're actually linking that to infertility issues also. I don't know if you've seen any of the handmaiden shows where like half the population is infertile, but I think the last time I checked, which was last year, we're up to 8% is 8% reported fertility issues. I think that was something like 1 in every 12 people or something like that. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but glyphosate actually, it cuts off, with the plant, it cuts off the ability for it to absorb nutrients. And it's doing something similar to humans. It's making it so that we can't utilize properly protein, and it makes it so we can't utilize enzymes in our belly properly, which means to break down our food. And if you can't break down your food, you can't absorb the nutrients. So these are things to keep in mind. And the Biomedic actually removes, I think it's something like 78% of Roundup out of the body. I give that to my kids as well. We live on it at our house because Roundup is being linked to all of those cancers. Have you seen all of the lawsuits that are happening? And they're winning, and we're one of the only countries that's still allowing Roundup in our food. Why? I don't know. But here we are, and so you have to be proactive. And that's something that you want to keep in mind. Hi everybody, that's something you want to keep in mind for yourself and for your baby. So removing the Roundup. So you're removing heavy metals. This is huge for your baby. This is huge for you. This is huge for you postpartum. Like I said, heavy coppers in the body can lead to postpartum anxiety and anxiety. After my first baby, I had terrible anxiety, terrible postpartum. I had no clue why. I incidentally got my metals tested. My coppers were so high that the lab called the doctor's office concerned that I was like living off of well water or something, or living by a nuclear power plant. It was pretty nuts. So as soon as I started detoxing those coppers with, all the high vitamin C, and if you've missed some of this, and I see a lot of people just jumping on now, and you watch it from the beginning, I'm trying to reiterate some of the stuff I'm talking about here. Hi, happy holidays to everybody. I'm just trying to, catch everybody up here, but vitamin C helps remove coppers, which is actually really detrimental psychology, psychiatrically, everything you can imagine, that anxiety that a lot of these people are dealing with. And where do you get coppers from? It comes from so many places. It's amazing. It's just amazing. But the body retains all of these things. And you've got these gene mutations that a lot of people are dealing with. And, the balance of our body is being thrown off by things like the Roundup, by things, all the heavy metals that are in everything. And the Roundup isn't just in your food or on your grass. It's in your Q-tips. It's in your tampons. It's in the clothes that you wear. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it doesn't have to be. Just know that, be proactive, and remove it. And that's why I'm all about this biomedic. I absolutely love it. And that's something that I added too. I just finished a 6-month detox right before I got pregnant, which was a beautiful surprise. But, and before in the past, we had to really work to get pregnant. So this was a huge leap for us, very exciting. And I wanted a third one, so I'm super happy. But the biomedic, I was doing heavy metal detoxes, I was doing parasite cleanses. I spent 6 months doing really intense detoxes, and as soon as I kind of relaxed off of those, it really helped with the balance. And a lot of people that are dealing with the MTHFR issues, which is known as a gene mutation, some believe it now to just be an imbalance of riboflavin in the body, and there's a lot of schools of thought, but either way, a methylated B complex helps too. So I know I'm giving you a lot of information here. Make some notes, do your own research on it, because this is all good information. So if you've done all of these things, your heavy metal detox, your kidney, you're doing your progesterone cream, things like organic shatavari, which is an Ayurvedic vitamin, I think it's translated something into like woman of 1,000 fertilities or something like this. But it helps balance your fertility no matter where you're at in your hormone cycle. So that's really lovely too, and it'll help give you good energy. Google and research, or DuckDuckGo. We try not to Google anymore. We do DuckDuckGo. And chasterberry. Those are great too. So make sure you're getting organic supplements also, and you want to make sure that your sourcing is good. There's a lot of these Ayurvedic vitamins that are coming from India, and unfortunately, India and China are known to have a lot of heavy metals in their supplements and in their soil. So you want to see, they have a little label on the back that says that the metals have actually it's been tested for metals and heavy metals, and these are important. Remember that the heavy metals are things that they're finding in people with Alzheimer's later on in life. They're finding it in children with autism, and they're finding it in people with memory issues. So this is something that you want to get around and get in front of as well. So I hope that all of this information, I know this has been short and sweet, I just wanted to share it because, having infertility issues is it's hard. It's the pits, and I know because I spent 2.5 years trying, and it feels hopeless and it feels lonely, and you don't want to hear from anybody. You don't want to hear their solutions. You don't want to hear their information. And believe me, I've been there with everything. I've had people message me and say, maybe you should just be happy with the one baby you have. And all of these things, and you want to be grateful. I'm saying hi to everybody. You want to be grateful, absolutely. But, there's still something that's hard about that. And if you've ever dealt with it, you understand what I mean. And so, giving the little tips of things that are helping me, hopefully it leads you to something that kind of, is a little thread that you can pull that helps get you on your path to where you want to go. If you have any questions that you think that I could help with, send me a message. I'm happy to send you links to all the stuff that I've researched. I have a couple that are my very favorite. There's a link that's directly linked to copper and anxiety and all the different mental disorders that will come along with heavy metals, and it's actually astounding. Infertility is directly linked to heavy metals. So these are things to keep in mind. It's not just my opinion. I try to research everything before I give you any information. So check it out yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy holidays. I hope that your new year is super amazing. I know 2019 was a bit of a booty kicker, so let's hope that we do some booty kicking in 2020. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday.